In 1988, Warren Buffett bought Coca-Cola stock for $1.3 billion. Today, that investment is worth over $25 billion. But here's what blew my mind when I discovered this. He didn't use some secret insider formula or complex algorithm. He used a simple framework based on fundamental principles that his mentor Benjamin Graham had been teaching for decades. And by the end of this video, you'll master this exact same system. Before we dive in, tap like and subscribe. This could be the most profitable 10 minutes you spend this year. While 90% of retail investors lose money trying to pick stocks, these legendary investors have consistently beaten the market for decades using a simple framework that anyone can learn. I'm talking about a systematic approach that's created more millionaires than any other investment strategy in history. And today, I'm going to break down the complete blueprint for you. Let's be honest about what's really happening out there. Most people think stock picking is either pure gambling or requires some kind of insider knowledge that only Wall Street professionals have access to. They're drowning in information overload. Thousands of metrics, ratios, and technical indicators that seem designed to confuse rather than clarify. So what do? They end up making FOMO investments in whatever hot stock is trending on social media without understanding a single thing about the underlying business. Here's the brutal truth. The difference between random stock picking and systematic analysis isn't just a few percentage points of return. It's the difference between building generational wealth that can change your family's future forever and watching your hard-earned money disappear into the market's black hole. The stakes couldn't be higher, and yet most people are playing this game completely blind. Today, I'm breaking down the complete stock picking blueprint that's created more millionaires than any other investment strategy in the world. This isn't theory from some academic textbook. This is the exact same system used by Warren Buffett, Benjamin Graham, and the greatest investors of all time. They've been using these principles for over 80 years, through market crashes, bubbles, recessions, and booms. We're going to cover the 4 pillars of legendary stock picking that separate the pros from the amateurs. I'll show you the key differences between Warren Buffett's approach and Benjamin Graham's methods, give you real examples with actual numbers you can verify yourself, and reveal the common mistakes that destroy returns before you even know what hit you. By the end of this video, you'll have a systematic framework that takes the guesswork out of investing. Pillar 1. Valuation metrics. Imagine you're buying a house. You wouldn't pay $500,000 without knowing if it's actually worth $300,000 or $700,000, right? The same principle applies to stocks, but somehow, people forget this basic logic when they see a company's stock price going up. Let's start with the price-to-earnings ratio, or PE ratio. This is the price tag versus earnings game. You take the stock price and divide it by the earnings per share, and you get a number that tells you how much you're paying for each dollar of earnings. Warren Buffett typically looks for PE ratios under 15, and Benjamin Graham established this as the maximum acceptable level for value investing. In today's higher interest rate environment, the market is increasingly rewarding earnings quality over aggressive growth projections, making PE analysis even more critical than before. But here's where it gets interesting. Sometimes a high PE ratio can actually be a bargain. That's where the PEG ratio comes in. This is the growth correction formula that addresses the PE ratio's biggest limitation. You take the PE ratio and divide it by the expected earnings growth rate. A PEG under 1.0 typically indicates the stock is undervalued relative to its growth potential. This metric is especially valuable for growth stocks like technology companies, where high PE ratios might be completely justified by exceptional growth rates. Then there's the price-to-book ratio, which compares the market price to the net asset value. This answers the question, what if the company disappeared tomorrow? Warren Buffett prefers PB ratios under 1.5. And when you find ratios under 1.0, you might be looking at significant undervaluation. This metric works particularly well for financial institutions, utilities, and industrial companies with substantial tangible assets that you can actually touch and measure. Pillar 2. Cash flow analysis. Bernie Madoff's company showed profits for years. His financial statements looked absolutely beautiful. But there was one number he couldn't fake, and if investors had paid attention to this metric, it would have saved them billions of dollars. That number was cash flow. Free cash flow yield is what I call the 5% rule that beats bonds. This measures the actual cash a company generates relative to its market value. You take the free cash flow per share and divide it by the stock price. Investors should target yields above 5%, which provides a risk premium over the 10-year Treasury. This metric cuts through all the accounting noise and reveals the true cash generation capability of the business. It's superior to earnings-based measures because cash doesn't lie. You either have it or you don't. Then there's the discounted cash flow model, which is like fortune-telling with math. This analysis estimates the intrinsic value of a company by projecting future cash flows and discounting them back to present value. Most analysts use discount rates between 8 and 12%, and they project cash flows for 5 to 10 years into the future. Here's the kicker. The terminal value often represents 60 to 80% of the total DCF value, which makes your growth rate assumptions absolutely critical. While this model is complex, it provides the most comprehensive valuation methodology for established companies with predictable cash flows. The beauty of cash flow analysis is that it reveals the companies that are actually generating real value versus those that are just playing accounting games. During the dot-com bubble, companies with great earnings stories but terrible cash flows got destroyed, while companies with strong cash generation survived and thrived. Pillar 3. Profitability. Powerhouse Warren Buffett once said he'd rather buy a wonderful company at a fair price than a fair company at a wonderful price. This wisdom completely changed how smart investors think about stock selection. But how do you actually identify these wonderful companies? The answer lies in what I call the profit trinity. Return on equity, or ROE, is your entry ticket to the 15% club. This measures how efficiently management generates profits from shareholders' equity. Warren Buffett looks for return on equity above 15% consistently maintained over multiple years, while Benjamin Graham sets the minimum threshold at 8%. Return on equity serves as a key indicator of management quality and competitive positioning. When you see consistently high ROE over 5, 10, or even 20 years, you're looking at a company with durable competitive advantages that can generate superior returns regardless of market conditions. Return on assets, or ROA, is your asset efficiency detector. This evaluates how effectively a company uses its total assets to generate profits. Warren Buffett's criteria specify return on assets above 6%. This metric is particularly valuable when you're comparing companies with different capital structures because it focuses on operational efficiency rather than financial leverage. A company might have great ROE because it's heavily leveraged, but if the ROA is poor, you're looking at a house of cards. Earnings per share growth reveals the rate at which companies increase profitability on a per-share basis. The key here is consistent positive EPS growth over 5 to 10 years, which indicates strong business fundamentals and excellent management execution. But you have to be careful. Investors must distinguish between growth driven by genuine operational improvements versus financial engineering like share buybacks. Real growth comes from expanding revenues, improving margins, and gaining market share, not from accounting tricks. Pillar 4. Financial health check. In 2008, some companies looked absolutely amazing on paper. Their growth rates were fantastic, their margins were expanding, and their stock prices were soaring. Then the music stopped, and as Warren Buffett famously said, "We discovered who was swimming naked." The companies with weak balance sheets got completely destroyed, while those with strong financial health not only survived, but came out stronger than ever. The debt-to-equity ratio is your protection against the leverage trap. This measures financial leverage and risk by comparing total debt to shareholders' equity. Warren Buffett prefers ratios under 0.5, while ratios under 1.0 are generally considered acceptable. In today's higher interest rate environment, excessive leverage poses increased risks as borrowing costs continue to rise. Companies that looked smart for borrowing cheap money in 2020 are now facing a harsh reality as they refinance at much higher rates. The current ratio is your bill-paying test. This assesses short-term liquidity by comparing current assets to current liabilities. Both Warren Buffett, who looks for the 1.5 to 2.5 range, and Benjamin Graham, who sets the minimum above 1.5, emphasize the importance of adequate liquidity. This metric ensures companies can meet their short-term obligations without being forced into distressed asset sales that destroy shareholder value. Interest coverage ratio measures a company's ability to service its debt obligations. You take the operating income and divide it by interest expense. Warren Buffett requires coverage above 5 times, providing a substantial safety margin for debt service. Higher coverage ratios indicate financial stability and dramatically reduced bankruptcy risk. When you see coverage ratios below 2 or 3, you're looking at a company that's one bad quarter away from serious financial distress. The secret sauce: competitive moats. Beyond all the numbers and ratios, there's one thing that separates 10-year winners from flash-in-the-pan stocks. Warren Buffett calls them competitive moats, sustainable competitive advantages that protect a company's profits from competitors like a medieval castle's moat protected it from invaders. There are 5 types of moats that create lasting wealth. Brand power is when customers pay premium prices because they trust and prefer your product. Coca-Cola has built such a powerful brand that people will pay twice as much for their sugar water versus a generic cola that tastes almost identical. Cost advantages allow companies to offer lower prices while maintaining healthy margins. Walmart dominates retail because their massive scale and efficient operations let them offer everyday low prices that smaller competitors simply can't match. Network effects create value that increases with each additional user. Visa's payment network becomes more valuable to merchants as more consumers use Visa cards, and more valuable to consumers as more merchants accept Visa. It's a self-reinforcing cycle that's almost impossible for competitors to break. Switching costs make it expensive or difficult for customers to change providers. Microsoft Office dominates business software not because it's necessarily the best, but because the cost and hassle of training employees on alternative software is enormous. Regulatory advantages come from government-granted monopolies or high regulatory barriers. Utility companies often operate as regulated monopolies in their service areas, providing predictable returns with limited competition. The key test for any moat is simple. Ask yourself whether this company will still dominate its industry in 10 years. If you can't confidently answer yes, then you don't have a real moat. Common mistakes and pitfalls. Even with all these powerful metrics, there are traps that catch even experienced investors. Earnings manipulation is more common than most people realize. Companies can use aggressive accounting practices to make their earnings look better than reality. That's why cash flow analysis is so important. It's much harder to fake actual cash coming in the door. Industry context blindness is another killer. A P/E ratio of 25 might be expensive for a utility company, but cheap for a high-growth technology company. No metric should ever be evaluated in isolation from industry norms and characteristics. What looks like a great deal in one sector might be overpriced in another. Then there's the timing trap, also known as value traps. These are stocks that look cheap based on traditional metrics, but continue to get cheaper because the business is fundamentally deteriorating. Newspaper companies in 2010 had low P/E ratios and seemed like bargains, but the internet was destroying their business model regardless of their attractive valuations. Single metric tunnel vision is perhaps the most dangerous mistake. Focusing on just one ratio while ignoring others can lead to terrible investment decisions. The most successful investors use comprehensive analysis that combines multiple metrics to build a complete picture of the investment opportunity. You now know the exact same framework that's created more wealth than any other investment strategy in history. These aren't theoretical concepts, they're battle-tested principles that have worked through every market condition for over 80 years. Here's your challenge. Pick one stock you're curious about and run it through this complete framework. Check its P/E, PEG, and PB ratios. Analyze its ROE, ROA, and EPS growth. Examine its debt levels and cash flow generation. I guarantee you'll be shocked by what you discover about companies you thought you understood. Remember, great investors aren't born. They're trained, and your training starts right now. The knowledge you've gained in these 10 minutes has the potential to transform your financial future, but only if you actually apply it. The market rewards those who do their homework and think independently. Start with one stock, master this framework, and watch how it changes your entire approach to investing. Your future self will thank you for taking this first step toward building real, lasting wealth. If this blueprint gave you a new way to see investing, hit that like button so more people can discover it too. Drop a comment with the first stock you'll analyze using this framework. I read every single one. And if you're serious about mastering wealth building the Warren Buffett way, subscribe now, because the next video might just change your portfolio forever.